Hey everyone, got a video for you today. This one, I'm going to try not to lose my cool over, but let's bring this up and take a look. Kathleen Kennedy candidly calls out. You got that? Kathleen Kennedy candidly calls out targeting of women by small group of Star Wars fans. This is going to be interesting. As Kathleen Kennedy departs as president of Lucasfilm, she has reflected on her time overseeing the company's biggest asset, the Star Wars franchise. I'm going to stop right there. So, if it was the biggest asset, why did you run it into the ground, KK? Why? Oh, God, why? Back to the article. There have been plenty of highs during Kathleen. Hold on. Hi, there have? There have been plenty of highs during Kennedy's years in charge of the company created by George Lucas and now one of Disney's most profitable subsidiaries. Okay, got to stop again, even though the sentence isn't done. So there have been plenty of highs, have there? Are you sure about that? I don't think that your profits reflect that. And it's lying right here, right through their teeth. Most profitable subsidiaries. They've done nothing but lose money since she took control. Well, let's be honest. Okay, maybe not exactly since. A lot of us did like The Force Awakens, myself included. Rogue One was even pretty fantastic. But ever since 2017's Last Jedi, I think it's all been downhill, folks. That's not a good track record. Really? You know what I mean? 2017, we're talking almost 10 years, right? She's been tanking the company. All right, I'm getting aggravated. Fed's getting aggravated. All right, back to the sentence. Let me just start it over because I'm so flabbergasted. I gotta make sure I read that correctly. Let's go back to it. There have been plenty of highs during Kennedy's years in charge of the company created by George Lucas, and now one of Disney's most profitable subsidiaries. Yeah, I read it right. They wrote it wrong, but I read it right. But one thing that has marred in recent years is the attitude of some Star Wars fans towards anything that attempts to modernize the sensibilities of the sci-fi franchise being a male-dominated world. This sentence just gets worse as I go on. It gets worse as I go on, right? Did I just read that right? But one thing that has marred recent years is the attitude of some fans. First of all, some fans, okay? If it was just some fans, just a small handful of fans, right? It wouldn't have went down so hard. You wouldn't have hit rock bottom so fast, all right? It wasn't just some fans. It's most Star Wars fans dislike the Disney bullshit, okay? Most fans. It's not a little corner of the internet like you're trying to make it sound. That's why you're currently redesigning Star Wars Land, right? All right. And okay, to modernize, okay? So I'm a white male and I'm not allowed to be offended, right? I guess. But so basically what I'm reading here, what comes across to me is that we are a thing, men, all you men out there, we're a thing of the past, you know? We are irrelevant. We are no longer necessary. This is why we're all, just us few, some fans, are so ecstatic that she's leaving, okay? Just a few of us are just, yeah, I mean, it's just a few of us. Anyway, aggravated. Okay. In a lengthy retrospective. Okay, so let me just get this out too. I'm going to be fumbling over my words because I'm a little pissed off, but we're going to try to soldier on here. It's a fairly long article. Stay tuned. Sit back. I guess we can't relax at this point, but I'm going to try to read this. I'm already, all right. Okay. Anyway, back to the article. In a lengthy retrospective interview with Deadline, Kennedy addressed how entering the Star Wars franchise can be a daunting task for anyone, but particularly women, really, who have been subjected to online hate for simply being a prominent part of the franchise. Stopping yet again, because this lie has been pushed for what seems like an eternity now, that we do not like strong female characters, okay? First of all, I have never met a fellow Star Wars fan who did not absolutely love Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia, okay? One of the strongest female presence that there has ever been on screen in any franchise ever, okay? Han Solo is one of the most beloved male characters in cinema history, especially the world of science fiction. And Princess Leia bitch slapped Han Solo every chance she got, and none of us had a problem with Princess Leia or Carrie Fisher, even before the metal bikini. So don't say, yous only liked her after she sported the metal bikini. Bullshit. Okay? Absolute bullshit. Utter nonsense. Okay? We all loved, fans of the prequels, we have no problem with Natalie Portman as Padme Amidala, none of that stuff, okay? None of it. So it's all a lie, and I'm sick of it. And I hope it leaves with Kennedy. Back to the article. As Kennedy said, she does not hold back when warning newcomers of the intense reactions they are likely to face, but also noted that the main source of this backlash always seems to come from a small but vocal group. Again, back to the small, okay? You have an infatuation with size, Kathleen, okay? An infatuation with size. It's not a small vocal group, okay? If it was small, you wouldn't have failed. Asked how she handled new filmmakers and actors coming into the Star Wars world, Kennedy said, okay, this is going to be good. I'm honest. So there's a lie right off the bat. I'm honest, especially with the women that come into this space because they unfairly get targeted. How? I mean, we never see proof of this. We never saw proof of this. I mean, they claimed over the years that Rose Tico, I forget the actress's name off the top of my head because I blocked that movie out, but they claim that she had to run screaming from social media due to a small part of the fan base. But we've never exactly seen these things. I mean, because it's all fabricated, right? Women are unfairly targeted, okay? Back to the article. I don't try to sugarcoat it. And I emphasize that it's a very small group of people with loud megaphones. Okay, right? Loud megaphones. You're talking the internet. You're talking that someone like me with, I don't know, what is it? 1,200 followers on Twitter X at this point, right? My megaphone is louder than Lucasfilm's. Okay, so there's part of her honesty. I truly do not believe that it's the majority of the fans. And I think we're also in this weird world where bots can affect things. Yeah, you sure know all about bots. Disney sure knows about those bots, right? They utilized them under most of her tenure to try to make it seem like people like shows like The Acolyte and Obi-Wan Kenobi. But anyway, you have to develop a tough skin. That is exactly right. That's what you have to do. You can't make it go away, obviously. But we can make you go away, right? Because we're allowed to do that as fans. If we disapprove of what you're doing, we do not have to fork out our hard-earned money and buy your stuff, okay? That's why you're going away. You're a failure. I get it, Kathleen. You had a successful career before you were president as a producer, okay? I don't take that away from you. Unfortunately, I do like a lot of movies that your name is attached to. But you ruined it all by what you did under your tenure at Lucasfilm. And you 100% chose to do what you did. You were the president. You made the calls. This is all on you. Back to what she has to say, because I really, really care at this point. All we can do is put our heads down and do the work and believe that we're doing the best we can to destroy everything we touch, right? If that's your best, well done. Well done, Kathleen. You succeeded. Telling the best story we can. And if somebody gets really nervous about it and doesn't want to do it, I say, then don't do it because I can't tell you this won't happen. Okay. So, female and Black-led Star Wars projects have been most prominently targeted online. Okay, I can't even get into the next paragraph, the first paragraph under this heading. I can't because, again, I already discussed our love, this small vocal fan base, the love for Carrie Fisher. Okay, now we're going to talk Black-led Star Wars projects. All right. Okay, he was one of the leads, as far as I can tell, of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. One Lando Calrissian, Billy D. Williams. Okay, he's part of the main cast. One of my favorite characters of all time in Star Wars, Lando Calrissian. All right, so we're just going to sweep Billy D. Williams, all his credibility, all his work, his big part in the original trilogy. We're going to sweep that under the rug and just totally forget about him. Okay. Breathe. Serenity now. Serenity now. Let's get through this freaking thing. Just as has been seen with the finale of Stranger Things in the last 2 weeks, when a franchise becomes big enough to gather a multi-million strong fandom, there are some fans who believe that their ideas and visions for how this story should unfold should be heard. While this saw the sequel trilogy become a huge disappointment for some, thanks to the decisions made in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, several Disney Plus shows have received a very different kind of pushback, with the color and gender of the lead stars seemingly being a prime instigator for review bombing and general discourse. Again, where is the proof of this? All I saw were people did not like a lot of your shows, okay? Not because of color, not because of gender, right? While Daisy Ridley's role as Rey Skywalker and an upcoming movie have stood alongside Ahsoka in avoiding too much hate, other shows, such as The Acolyte, bore the brunt of angry reviews, slamming the show as completely disrespecting George Lucas's vision and being nothing but terrible writing, terrible acting, just terrible. Right. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. It didn't follow George Lucas's view. They haven't followed George Lucas's view from the beginning, even though Kathleen Kennedy sat there, if you remember, that interview with George and Kathleen when he was handing the reins over to her, where she said she's going to continue on with George's vision for Star Wars. And she totally didn't.
The main thing is to protect these characters, make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them.
She totally just threw it out the window, right? We all know he wrote treatments for episodes 7, 8, 9. They just didn't care, didn't use them. However, on social media, specific stars of the show, such as lead Amanda Stenberg, were targeted with racial-centric comments, something that previously happened to Obi-Wan Kenobi star Moses Ingram. The Amanda Stenberg, she's a racist herself, okay? And she deserves everything she got, right? She I don't know, she should have kept her mouth shut. And she flaunted making that rap video and that rap song and stuff, throwing it in fans' faces. So she did it to herself. At the time, Kennedy revealed that Ingram in particular had been warned of the kind of reaction her casting in the show could instigate. And with her parting comments as Lucasfilm president, it looks like Kennedy has not changed her opinion that certain stars and directors are put under more pressure than others. With the next 2 years bringing the Pedro Pascal-led, and The Mandalorian and Grogu and Ryan Gosling's Starfighter to cinemas, it will be interesting to see exactly how these two safe films fare with audiences. First of all, I wouldn't call them safe films, all right? We'll get to The Mandalorian in a minute. But Ryan Gosling's Starfighter already, you're comparing him to replacing. All I've seen and heard is that this character of Ryan Gosling is going to be the new Han Solo. That's a high bar to set there. To claim that you're going to replace Han Solo, that's a bold move. And if you don't follow through, Starfighter's doomed right from the get-go if we don't have the new Han Solo. Now to The Mandalorian and Grogu. First of all, let's hit on Grogu first, okay? I love Grogu as much as anyone. However, the little baby Yoda thing it's kind of run its course, I think. The merchandise isn't selling like it was. All the women who thought he was so cute and adorable already have their potted plant holders that look like Grogu. Already have everything they need, Grogu-wise. So I think the Grogu ship has sailed. And as far as Pedro Pascal, okay, check out my video from months back called Pedro Pascal Fatigue, right? It's a real thing. And Disney doesn't seem to want to admit that either. Pedro Pascal is not really that welcome in the fandom anymore. We're kind of sick of him. I think not just in Star Wars. He's in too many things. He needs to lay low for a while. I really don't think this Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be the savior that they're expecting. So I don't know. There's my take on this article. I'm sorry this was a little long, and believe me, I kept the profanity to a minimum because I'm trying to be a little classy here. But let me know what you all think. Do you think Kathleen Kennedy is right? Is there a small group of the fandom who should have kept their mouth shut and were harassing fans, or it's just a fabrication? And let me also ask, If Kathleen Kennedy knows that there's a problem with casting certain people and stuff, all right, why continue to do it? Let some time go by, right? And maybe down the road you can start to incorporate different directors and direct, things like this. But no, see, it was to fan the flames. That's all it was. It was fanning the flames, and she's fanning the flames on her way out. She wants to go down in a blaze of glory. I don't think there are any embers left, and nobody really cares. Just go away. But as far as I go, y'all know how I feel about Dave Filoni. I think at this point, never trust a cowboy from Pennsylvania. I really don't think he's going to save Star Wars. And while we're talking on that, when I did my original video on Kathleen Kennedy leaving, I didn't do my homework. I apologize for that. Linwood Brennan, I referred to as a man. Apparently, it's a woman, and she's already worked since I think 99, something like that, with Lucasfilm, and she's been under Kathleen Kennedy's whole tenure, like head of the financial division and things like that. So, in every video I've seen of her, she praises her buddy Kathy. So I really don't think we're going to get anything different out of Lucasfilm. So I don't know. I'll hope with the rest of you, because I would like to see more good Star Wars. But let me know what you think. Dave Filoni, Linwood Brennan, going to be the new saviors of Star Wars, or are you still done? Couldn't care less what happens with Star Wars. Let me know in the comments below. And if you would, please remember to do all that cool YouTube stuff, like, share, subscribe. And like I said, leave a comment. It helps with that YouTube algorithm and pushes the channel forward. And after you do all that, and most importantly, don't forget to take care of yourself, take care of each other. And why? Take it easy when you could take it. Well, I should have took it easy for this video, shouldn't I? I'm all worked up now. But why take it easy when you can take it? You know how to take it. Sleazy.
Exit light, pursue night, grasp your prey, hold on